What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classic Climb blog on vacation. So, it is what it is. But look, I just want to talk to you about being relentless. A lot of times people say, well, how do you keep going? How do you keep posting? How do you keep creating? How do you keep putting out ebooks? How do you keep doing a lot of things? The fact remains is I feel that I'm called to do something, called to help others see, what's potentially out there. And the truth is, a lot of people have very narrow visions of their life. You can ask somebody who lives in Virginia versus someone who lives near DC part of Virginia. They have totally two different views of what Virginia offers and what it can do, right? Same thing in Nashville, Tennessee versus the mountains of Tennessee. These people have two different views of what the world, aka Tennessee, has to offer for them. So when you see a lot of this information online, sometimes it can be lies, sometimes it can be deception, sometimes it can be, unfortunately, these things that are outlandish, but it's to get your attention. A lot of people are doing things to get your attention. One, because they didn't get enough attention as a child. Let's go there. One. Two, they're doing some of these outlandish things to get your attention because it makes a lot of money. A lot of the creators, I know y'all keep hearing OnlyFans girls make $5. But a lot of the creators out here are basically copying and pasting templates to get $100K to $250,000 a year. And this is the first time in their adult life they'll make $100 to $250,000 a year. Now let's even bring it down to guys who make their first $50 to $75,000 from social media, and they're doing it part-time. They're going to continue to do that rather than sit in traffic, drive multiple hours a day to work, deal with coworkers they don't like. They're going to do the more reduced down activity. Now, here's why it matters to be relentless. A lot of people go to work and they do one particular task. They have one task they're assigned to do, and that's all they do. It's like almost like assembly line, but maybe you just check emails and getting Zoom calls, and your life is very repetitive, right? If I handed you what your coworkers do, plus what your manager does, plus what other people do in your corporation, you would be like, oh, that's too much. And that's what it's like for a lot of people who start a business. They start a business and they're absolutely overwhelmed. And this is why I recommend you finding a tribe, a group to work with. That's why I see these conferences for construction. I see these conferences for real estate. And a lot of the information is out there. But sometimes people need people to hold their hand. I get that. I've been doing that for years with people. It's been a blast. In fact, for the Black Friday, we're doing, instead of $497, it's like $97 for the land grab course, because I want to teach you how to fish yourself. How do you reach out to people? How do you send emails and letters? How do you tell people you want to buy their land, their house? How do you find tax deeds and tax liens? What's the price points that you can do to get into these, really real estate, which is the real game of America. All roads lead to real estate. Trademark pendant, right? But I want you to understand, like, Middleman to Millions course, every single aspect of this country is middleman to millions. Your manager, property management, you name the business, the career, they have a middleman in it. So even when we teach that course, we have several students who have been on this channel, who've done interviews, who've done pages, and they're doing that exact business model now. Right? They're running painting companies. They're running fencing companies. They're running HVAC. They're doing all these things. They're not the main person, but they're brokering the customer plus the person who can service the business. Right? We just had a training in Digital Liberty Warriors where someone in there was a broker for roadside car repair. Great opportunities, right? We had people in the Middleman to Millions course who was doing concrete. We have two guys who are doing roofing. Part of my goal in this whole channel is for you guys to actually learn how to do things yourself and grow. Now, if you want to join us in fellowship and inner circle, listen, I'm going to tell you now, inner circle next year is going to be like probably something so ridiculous, only 10 people will join. It'll be like $20,000. And you're going to say, Erica, why would you do that? Because we only want people who are really serious. And as we excel and do projects, which the amount of projects we're going to do from January to June of next year is insane. And so we're not going to be as heavy video focused as far as live stream videos. It's going to be a lot more pre-recorded stuff, but you guys knew that was coming. You knew that shift was coming in the marketplace for this channel. We still will teach all the techniques because let's the truth. Everybody will ask, Erica, does that still work? Does wholesaling still work? Does being a plumber still work? Does truck driving still work? Does truck dispatching still work? I'm going to tell you the truth. All those things still work, but because most people aren't relentless, most people don't want to follow a system. They just kind of do it when they feel like it. They get upset. So I still have trucks that are on the road that are managed by a company, right? I still have rentals in the Midwest. They're managed by property managers. And then I got to manage the property managers, right? Because that's a part of the process. We're still trying to buy land in different states. We're still closing on deals as we speak in the month of December. Why? Because the upkick of next year is going to feel relentless to y'all. I'm going to just tell you now, from January to November next year, as far as inflation, the K-shaped economy effect, you're really going to feel it. I think a lot of people thought they felt it this year. Oh no, I think they're going to feel it 10x next year. But you're going to look up and you're still going to see people going on vacations. You're going to be in the airport like I was a couple days ago and it'd be absolutely jam-packed, right? Half the back of the plane's empty, but it's still pretty packed in first class. It's packed in comfort plus, however you say that. You're still going to have that segment of the economy. They're kicking on all cylinders. There's several people I follow who are charter kings, what we call charter kings, another middleman a million. Essentially, they post flights, empty leg on planes. They help people who have small planes who buy, buy planes, make money, essentially, with the pilots going different places. At the end of the day, everything you can look at from most perspectives is middleman to millions. Even when I'm showing you guys the farming aspects, there's a lot of management in farming. There's a lot of people who have titles, do jobs that are just essentially management. There's so much I could talk about, but the key of what I want you guys to grasp is being relentless. And what happens is I don't want you to wait till you have a heart attack. Your parents are aging. Someone needs money in your family and you can't provide it before you become relentless. I'd rather you become relentless before it's necessary, right? But that's sometimes how it works out for people. God may just have that for you, when it's time for you to go through your storm. Watching people say, oh, 100,000 is a ton of money. And you make it multiple years in a row and you go, well, that's really not a ton of money. In the grand scheme, what is the grand scheme? It's a game. Right? If you just want to go home and watch TV and eat pizza on Fridays with your kids and you never go on any vacations and you have a very good life, you got nice cars, they're comfortable, you can be comfortable for the next 40 years and do it on autopilot and never care. Okay? You can do that. But what I'm going to tell you is most people, they get the Jones, they get the orange eye, they get the green eye envy, right? Whether it is people want what other things people want, right? Sorry, we've been out all day. This is a late night video. People want what other people want. Simple as that. Oh, those Porsches, I want that. Those houses, those cars, I want that. We never stop to think about how relentless did that person have to be to get that? How determined did that person have to be to get that? I talk about it frequently here on this channel as far as tech careers. When I did Tech Tuesday, I've been doing Tech Tuesday for the past 5-6 years. Dr. Diggs, we've had Tamika Reed come on. We've had Kamoy Matthews, we had Chris Johnson, we had Dwight Robertson, we've had countless people come on the show, right? And I will tell you straight up, like from feedback from them, clients, and you guys, the people who actually make the leap to go to tech are people who were like, it's now or never. They're playing the Elvis song in their head. You know what I'm saying? It's now or never, right? They had to burn the bridge and jump and go. And so I love that about people who watch this channel and they know I got to make a decision. I got to go. And there's several people. I mean, Christian, oh God, I'm going to mess up his name. Christian, Anton, Ant from Cleveland, several people who have in the comments and in the videos in the past said they're working and they're making, 6 figures in tech. They're loving it. Their life has been transformed. Several of them are working in warehouses and they transformed into tech. You have the same opportunity if you decide to be relentless to recreate yourself every single year. I know that sounds crazy, but let's look at the country we're in right now. We have Donald Trump, the son of a billionaire, New York mogul. Right? We don't like Nepo babies. Let's be very clear about that part. Sorry. We don't like Nepo babies. He's a Nepo baby that is now the president of the United States, second term around. Now, you may be like, Erica, don't bring up Donald Trump. But I want you to understand that's the kind of country we live in. Somebody with felons, somebody with multiple baby mamas, somebody with, can rise to these ranks in this country because they're just relentless. I didn't say the smartest. I didn't say the best. I didn't say the best president we ever had, right? But we had 16 presidents where we were under slavery. So I think he's ahead of those at least, right? So a lot of times what we're trying to get people to understand is being relentless is determining for you and your family what's a great opportunity. Is this the time for that opportunity? Are you going to is this Thanksgiving you're going to show out and go off on your family? I don't know, right? Everybody has a breaking point, a change point, a point of being relentless. What are something you want to be relentless for next year? One of the videos I'll probably do in December is planning your life. It's called, like, a lot of people just say, oh, I just don't even know what I'm doing in August. Well, most of you have children. So in August, your kids are going to school. That's what you're doing in August. Like, this isn't like a mystery of what you're doing, right? A lot of you are going to do the same pattern over and over again unless you decide this year will be different. Deciding this year it will be different is what will change for you, right? Deciding you want to try new hobbies. You don't have to do them forever. You may change your mind, right? Deciding you will do more walks in the park. Deciding you'll travel more. All these things are decisions. And I've watched people become relentless figuring out how they're going to go on vacation in the summer as a teacher, right? They're working multiple jobs. They're combining up their money. They're using points. They're doing everything, right? Companion passes. And I've seen people get relentless for vacations, relentless for boyfriends. Let's be honest. I've seen some women, very extreme pick me, and they still don't get picked. They're out here on the internet every day saying pick me and nobody's picking them. Okay. I've seen people go extreme for chasing certain things they want, temporary highs, but are they really changing for a new life? Are they being relentless so that they can have the life they want when they wake up? I had somebody in my family complain, man, well, you're at the house. Can you just go do this for me right now? I can't. See, the way I built my life, I'm busy and I can't do this for you right now because my day is full of activities I choose. And you may say, well, there, that's selfish. That sounds so selfish. But that's the key. Are you relentless to be free of headaches? Are you relentless to be free of people who are going to eat up your time? Energy vampires. Those are a real thing. I know too many people who know energy vampires. And guess what? When people won't manage their emotions, you have to manage them for them. You know how you do that? You separate from them. You spend time away from them. You get breaks. We don't negotiate with terrorists, as they would say, right? But deciding this year that you want to be on the other side of the K-shaped economy is what I strongly suggest, right? You'll ask a lot of people what are their skills, what are their degree in. Some of the people that are being laid off in some of these layoffs, they ain't been to college in 20 years. They ain't took a test in 10 years. They haven't took certifications in 10 years. They haven't went to a conference in 5 years. So they want to be paid the most. They want to keep their job. They want to show up to work and be on Facebook most of the day. And these jobs should pay them more, right? We see countless videos where people are like, I need 15 an hour to work fast food. Can't follow simple instructions. I mean, I've gone to restaurants where I had to repeat back my order to them to make sure it was right. And they go, oh, whoops, mix something. I've had to ask, is the biscuit in the box? Is the fork in the box? Right? So you have people in this economy who are feeling entitled, right? Feeling entitled to these really high paying careers. And then when you ask them, what have they been doing with their time the past 5 years? They're about ready to punch you in your face. Because they aren't relentless about that. They're relentless about getting paid more, for sure. But they're not relentless about being better. And that's your choice. You can feel free to go on autopilot for the next 40 years. Just as you are. But if you're watching this channel, and as I feel most of you who are watching this channel, you're looking for something a little different. You're looking for an opportunity to grow. Maybe some of you are looking to build houses. Some of you are looking to build and do different things next year. Well, this is the channel for that. I have plenty of content, plenty of interviews in the past, plenty of playlists that will help you on that journey. But decide for yourself. Are you willing to be relentless? Maybe for a year, maybe for 2 years. And that changes the whole trajectory for your life. One of the things that really blew my mind when I first had one of my boat parties is someone stood up and said, dude, I bought stocks for my grandchildren because of your channel and the people I had on the channel, of course. And that thought process had never crossed her mind. She had excess funds. It just never crossed her mind. And so what I want you guys to understand is the exposure is the key. Being exposed to new concepts, new ideals, new ways of thinking will help you. So probably in December, mid-December, we'll have a video on planning your life, because most people are waiting till like, oh, it's December 28th. Let me get my calendar out. When I tell y'all, we should always have our calendars out around October and start charting out what are the goals for that year. But be relentless. Decide whatever that looks like for you, what relentlessness looks like for you. And this is your girl, Erica, Classy Con Blog. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving whenever this video comes out. And then too, enjoy Black Friday. We'll have, I think, Middleman to Millions is $99. If I'm not mistaken. Land Grab course, instead of $497, will be $97. And I think the funding bundle, which is 4 courses inside one, is like $97 as well. So you can grab any of those in the links below. You guys have a great day and enjoy yourself, as I will go enjoy myself. All right, guys, have a great night.